Okay, so really exciting. Now you should know a little bit about visuals, auditories, kinesthetics, and you should know a little bit about neuro-linguistic programming. Now we need to tie all this kind of together and why it's important for all of us to know this. So let's say, for instance, that I'm hiring a graphic designer. Do I want a graphic designer that is dominant as an auditory kinesthetic? The answer is no, because designers have to see things differently than auditory kinesthetics need to see things. So I want a visual auditory if I'm hiring a graphic designer. That's very, very important. So when you're looking for certain people to hire out there, knowing this when you're going through the interview process saves you a fortune in hiring and firing people. Because you can get right to the root of what you're doing instantly. So here's your question if I'm talking to a graphic designer. Say to them, I want you to create me a brand new whatever it may be, and I don't want you to take any stuff that you've seen before. I want a totally new design. And what they'll instantly do is, if they're a visual, they'll go up like this and then they'll go right to their creative side and they'll start to recall, because it's impossible for them not to grab something to start from when they want to create this new thing for you, because they've had to have seen something to spark their interest, if that makes sense. But instantly it'll give you a clue if that's what they're into. Now, you can be different. I want you to make sense. That doesn't mean, okay, so let's say my dominance is auditory kinesthetic. That doesn't mean I can't be a visual auditory in other subjects. So there was a time in my career when I was trying to hire an electrical engineer. We brought him in. We started doing the interview. I have a whole bunch of questions that I always ask in these interviews to find out exactly what they are, what the person is, kind of, that kind of information. Anyway, as we started through the questions, very, very dominant auditory kinesthetic, like very dominant. I was like, oh, there's no way this guy's going to ever make it. But his resume was just impressive. Like, it was really blown me away. But I was like, how's this guy doing it? It can't be possible. As soon as we clicked into the engineering questions and the engineering world, changed. Went right to being a visual auditory. Okay? So don't judge somebody just because they're dominant doesn't mean they can't do other things, or they're not different in different subjects. I've talked to people that are visual auditories in mathematics and they're auditory kinesthetics in reading. Okay? So don't judge a book by its cover without knowing everything there is about somebody. Okay? It's very, very important, because a lot of times you go, oh, just that person isn't going to work. That's not true until you get them in the subject. You understand exactly what you're looking for. So once again, graphic artist. Let's say that I'm trying to do copy. I want somebody who can write me really, really good copy. Probably the person I'm going to go to is an auditory kinesthetic, because they're the ones that know exactly what the verbs need, what the excitement, the words need to be, and how to get people all excited, and the key words and stuff like that. And if they're really good at their auditory kinesthetic side and they've dealt with visual auditories in their career, they'll write really good copy to paint good pictures to put up here so the visual auditories can see that. But you got to have a visual auditory graphic artist designing that so that the graphic artist or the graphic or visual auditory people, they can visually see the message of what those words are trying to say. And I'm hoping this is all making sense, because we're doing this in a very short time period. But then you need this. You need the emotion end of it. And an auditory kinesthetic can bring that out for you. But if you can't find that, you need to find somebody that's really emotional about stuff, and they're evangelists for products. I mean, they're the ones that, man, they get so behind it, and they're so, you tell them that Nike sucks, and they're going to punch you in the nose. I mean, they just, no. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you try to prove that Nike could be the worst company on the planet to this person, they are just not going to have anything to do with it. I mean, they're just loyal, they're emotionally charged about that. If you can find somebody like that to help you in your copy and in what you're doing, so what you do is you send them to your page and have them look at it, and when they come back, just look at them straight in the face and say, how do you feel about that? And if they go, oh, I just can't live without it, I've got to have it, you're hitting a home run, because that tries those kinesthetics into there. And if you don't let them get involved, they're the ones that love to be part of the VIP club just to say that they're part of it because they love you. And they want you to personally invite them in. And if you personally ask them in, they're going to love you forever. Where a visual would look at you and say, I don't really care. I want the best, whatever. They're going to look at things differently. You see what I'm getting at? So when you're putting content out there for your membership programs, or you're out speaking, or whatever you're doing, that's why video is getting to be so important, because you get to see not only my body language, you get to see what I'm writing, you get to see all the things that we put into the screens for you to get, be a part of. So it grabs so many more people because we hit all these different subjects. We're hitting the visual, we're hitting the auditory, and we're hitting the kinesthetic. Now, I have to tell you, most people that I go through this subject with, and I've done this for years, and I've spent a lot of time on this subject, most people always want to tell you who they are, why they're what they are, and they're going to fight it to the battle because they know who they are. And you're going to find that, and don't try to change that. Just understand who you know they are and start to draw your maps. So when I go into an interview or whatever I'm doing, when I'm asking certain questions, or I'm working on finding out what somebody is or what I need to do, I just draw my map out, and then what I do is I have circles like this, and I'll have multiples of them. And with certain questions that I ask, I just watch their eye movements and I just make checks. Whatever side it is. So if it's this side, if they're going to their right or their left, and I just make check marks, and then I have my questions over on the side of what the question is I ask and how they answered that. And that way later I can go through and really understand that. So now all of us we have buying patterns. So if you understand exactly how somebody buys, or you understand exactly what they're doing, it's all based right here. So if I go into one of my clients and all of a sudden I say, hey, do you want to buy some advertising this month? And they look down and, yeah, I really do. And I can look at them and say, do they really? Are they just telling me that? Because they don't want me to feel bad. And then I can ask a question, because first of all, he looked down and said, yeah, I do. Well, that tells me there is an emotion tied to, yeah, I do, which means I need to ask a couple more questions because I know more than what they're trying to tell me, if that makes sense. So it's really important that you understand in buying patterns, if you have this on every client that's buying from you, you'll have a map to be able to go back and sell to them every single time. It's just like we all sign our name exactly the same every time. So if you put a piece of paper in front of somebody and they're going to go sign it, turn the paper just a little crooked for them to sign. Guarantee you they'll always reach down and turn the paper to sign it the way they want to, because we're creatures of habit. That's what we do. And to break those things is very tough for us unless you know. So now you've got an advantage on the people you're talking to, because you know when they're looking up or if they're looking down or whatever they're doing, what kind of response they're trying to relay to you, or what type of person that you're actually dealing with. So you know if you're dealing with a visual auditory, you deal one way. If you're dealing with an auditory kinesthetic, you do it another. Whatever it may be, you know how to handle that person and what kind of materials to create for them. As you're creating your membership sites though, and all that kind of stuff out there, make sure you're tapping in to these different types of people, or else you're going to lose a great portion of your audience, and you don't want to do that. And I see it time and time again as I go out and look at people's content, how they're relaying content out there. It's like, oh, go read all this information. Well, you know what? If you'd had a short video along with all that information and let me choose, I would have probably stayed a part of it, if that makes sense. So make sure you're designing that kind of stuff around there. And if you have questions on this, please let us know. Always subscribe to the channel, tell other people, and put your comments down below, and we'll get back to you on any of this information. I hope you really enjoyed this segment, and we'll be talking to you soon.